Hi, I'm Ruth, a music teacher based in Devon, presenting a series of videos about music theory for absolute beginners up to around grade 8. Welcome to my cycle of fifths in chart form. Video 1. The basics of the music alphabet, intervals, tones, semitones and sharps, up to the construction of the first two scales in the cycle of fifths. The music alphabet uses the first 7 letters of our English alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. After G it goes back to A and starts again. These 7 letters form the basis of our music notes. The distance between any two notes is called an interval. The interval between A and B is called a tone. The interval between B and C is called a semitone. Between C and D it's a tone, and D to E is a tone, but E to F is another semitone. Between F and G it's a tone, and between G and A we have a tone. These are the white notes on a piano: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and back to A. There's a note between A and B called A sharp, and there's a note between C and D called C sharp. Between D and E, D sharp. Between F and G, F sharp. And between G and A, we have G sharp. And these are the black notes on a piano. Notice there's no black note between B and C, and no black note between E and F. Take a look. There's A sharp, the black note between A and B. No black note between B and C, but C sharp is between C and D. D sharp is between D and E. Again, no black note between E and F, so F sharp is after F, and then after G we have G sharp, and of course after A, back to A sharp again. So here is the complete set of 12 notes. The interval between A and A sharp is a semitone. The interval between A sharp and B is a semitone. And you already know the interval between B and C is a semitone. You also know the interval between A and B is a tone. Between B and C sharp is a tone. Between C sharp and D sharp is a tone. And between E and F sharp is a tone. And then again, between G sharp and A we have another semitone. So from one note to the next is always a semitone. But if we skip a note, it's a tone, or two semitones. Notice there is no B sharp nor E sharp. There'll be more about that later in the series. Sometimes these sharp notes are called flats, and there'll be more about those also. They'll be in video 3. Now here are the white notes again, starting on C. This is because we can construct our first major scale with no sharps or flats, and it will be easier to understand. The interval between C and D is a tone. Between D and E it's a tone. Between E and F, semitone. The interval between G and A is a tone. Between A and B is a tone. Between B and C is a semitone. So here are those notes again, split in the middle. Notice the two halves have the same pattern. Each half is tone, tone, semitone. These 8 notes form the C major scale. All major scales follow this pattern. Only major scales follow this pattern because other scales have different patterns. So the two halves are separated by a tone. The major scale pattern then is tone, tone, semitone, split by a tone, 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 semitone. So we can write that again using T for tone and S for semitone, like that. The second half of the scale is the same pattern as the first half. The two halves are separated by a tone. Each major scale uses all 7 letters of the music alphabet. Each letter is only used once. The 8th letter is always the same as the first. So pattern CDEF equals pattern GABC. GABC is the second half of the C major scale. But GABC can also be the first half of the G major scale. Just take a look back at the top of the slide. There is GABC sitting neatly underneath CDEF. So the G major scale needs to continue in alphabetical order. So again, back at the top we have D, E, F. And of course it needs to end on G so that the last letter is the same as the first. Notice that the F note is not in line with the B note. So we need to look again at our choice of 12 notes. The F needs to be moved to be an F sharp. If you look at the bottom there, F sharp comes after F. This means that E to F sharp will fit the pattern of tone. Take a look back at the top. F sharp, but not F. Now we can see that F sharp to G also fits the pattern of semitone. So the second half of the G major scale is D, E, F sharp, G. There it is again. The G major scale is now following the same pattern as the C major scale. The interval pattern is tone, tone, semitone, split by a tone, 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 semitone. The major scale is numbered 1 to 8. The 8th letter is always the same as the first. So C major scale equals C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. The G major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Can you work out the next scale in the pattern? I'll give you a tip. It starts with D. Thank you for watching video 1. See you soon for video 2.